Welcome to the first of the semifinal Saturday games. This one at UMH-68. This game featuring the number 4 seed taking on the number 1 seed Black, and it'll be blue and black again, and a repeat of a game that was held yesterday as well. Starting with Team Blue, on defense, we've got Keaton Keith, Jennings Kelly, Owen Grant, Sam Clausen, Colby Holland, Kiefer Pilling, and on the forwards, we've got Braden Gorel, Riley Souster, Kaysen Shays, Rowan Istis, Walker Morrow, Santiago Serrano Parker, Jet Jakubek, Yukon Kim, and Nate Lintott, and the goaltenders Ben Bodnerchuk and Owen Morley. Coaching the team is Ryan Keller, the head coach and general manager of Saskatoon Contacts, and the player ambassador for Team Blue is Rowan Guest of the Kelowna Rockets. One loss on their way to first place. This is their team's lineup. On defense, Declan Scheidel, Maxime Christian, Andrew Pilipo, Keenan Williams, Brady Roth, and Sutter Cicchini. And on the forwards, we got Mason Livingstone, Rylan Bergen, Weston Filson, Jax Fellner, Walker Parkinson, Jackson Walter, Brody Grimm, Sawyer Gontoniuk, Braden Quo, and the goaltenders Lachlan Horn and Teo Otitoju. The head coach for Team Black, Courage Bear, head coach of the Werman Wildcats AAA U18 team, and their player ambassador, Rylan Pierce of the Everett Silvertips. We have been treated to some amazing hockey already, and it's only going to get better over the next 4 games. 2 semifinals tonight, and then the medal rounds tomorrow. U14 Saskatchewan, this is the first event of its kind here, and it's being showcased in this brand new facility here at Martensville Recreation Center. And I'll tell you, we have been treated to some amazing facilities. One of the first MIG tournaments held in the area, and so we've had some opportunities to experience all of the amenities that the community has provided, and just fantastic support. We're realizing a lot of support ourselves from the sponsors in the area, specifically the Ritchie Brothers Auction Mart, they are sponsoring the 3-Star Awards. We're proud to have Ritchie Brothers as the official sponsor of the 3 stars of the game here at UMH-68. Recognize the top performers and celebrating excellence on the ice. The top 3-Star Awards are sponsored by Ritchie Brothers. And the game's Grit and Grind Awards, presented to a player after the conclusion of every game, is sponsored by Weatherspoon Realty. Whether you're upgrading, downsizing, or buying your first home, trust the team that delivers results, Weatherspoon Realty. And of course, our national sponsors. This is the 4th UMH event held in Western Canada, first in Saskatchewan, and they have platinum sponsors BioSteel, another platinum sponsor, Iron Ghost Construction, based out of Vernon, British Columbia, and Elite Prospects serving as gold sponsor. And of course, the host of the event, the Up My Hockey. And we are going to be going live here now with the face-off, get things started, and it's Filson taking the draw. And it's Serrano Parker taking the draw, and it looked like Filson won that one. And we've been getting larger and larger groups of people coming out and cheering things on here in the stands. And welcome to you who are joining us via the live feed. And 19 minutes and 47 seconds in, no score. That's actually, there have been a few times where we've already had our first tally by this point. So we're going to call this a defensive struggle, even though we are so early in the game. Just some amazing talent here. Fellner now. Fellner, Filson, and Grimm are the line for Team Black. And Team Blue opting to go with some speed there. Serrano Parker. And let's see who they paired him up with this time. Kim and Jakubek. And so a couple of line changes by Coach Keller. looking for some chemistry here late in the tournament. Of course, this is just the 4th game they've played together, and that doesn't seem like a lot of time, but they've only known each other for less than 48 hours. And in this compressed format, there's not a lot of time to kind of build in. And that's Roth, now one of the Alberta-born players, playing defense for Team Black. And here's Filson, gets a shot on net, and 2 saves right off the get-go. And it looks like it's Ben Bodnerchuk in net for Team Blue, and he's got 2 good saves under his belt already. And now build some confidence there with the young Tendy. And Teo Otitoju out of Regina starting for Team Black. And that waved off, and Declan Scheidel out of Nipawin is the defender taking that puck up. And Quo, the centerman here, working that puck up the boards. That clearing pass by Keenan Williams doesn't make it out of the zone. And now Bergen bringing the puck up the ice, and Livingstone. Quo, Bergen, and Livingstone in the last game of the round robin, combining for at least 3 goals of the final contest for them. This line is very strong, Bergen being one of the most prolific scorers in the tournament so far, and that is deemed to be offside. If you've been following along with the live stream, you know that Blue started off with a fairly heavy victory in the beginning stages and have kind of fallen into a little bit of a rut. And Coach Keller will have been working with that team along with his ambassador to rebuild some of that chemistry that they had so early on. And right off the get-go, they already look like a slightly different squad here. 2 stops from there. And this is Maxime Christian. And he's pushing his way down in, get that pressure on. And both teams still not quite yet able to get that first push. And there's another save for Bodnerchuk. Player nutrition is a very important part of the whole experience here at UMH-68. And we're happy to invite Ainsworth Refrigeration Company, who has been providing snacks throughout the weekend. Thanks to Ainsworth for your sponsorship of UMH-68. It makes a big difference for these boys, especially now that we're in our 4th game here. Nutrition and rest, so important in the success of a hockey player. And there's Walter now. He had a couple of tallies in the round robin, and he's quickly spotted Nate Lintott with his 2 goals. He'll be looking to get back on the score sheet. And that's a spirited effort by Lintott, and he just gets a little bit high there. And they've paired him with Jackie Beck, perhaps. And we'll see. Lintott and Kim and Parker Serrano. Lintott goes off Parker Serrano, Kim, and it looks like Jackie Beck. Slight change. Coach juggling things around, looking to see if he can get some scoring punch. And then Pilling, he's been a standout, and he gets stood up. Good save by Bodnerchuk there. And Bodnerchuk being tested early, and he's got his jam back. Had a little bit of a struggle, but he's been battling the last 2 games, and it's good to see him getting back to his usual ways in between the pipes. And here's Jackie Beck, one of the Alberta players, coming to us from Edmonton. And now Parker Serrano, he's got a head of steam and just looking for Kim, unable to find it. And a really good heads-up play by Sutter Ciccani. And Ciccani, he continues on following that. Pilling and Ciccani, they've had a little bit of a battle going on during the course of the tournament. Very complementary styles. And if you're paying attention to the numbering format, the kids don't pick their numbers for the most part. Their numbers are based on largely their size in terms of running a tournament like this, but you're going to see similarities. And I've been struck by the number of times you'll see complementary numbers from both teams lining up, and that's probably partly because of that size. And you're going to see that with the 2 sevens in this particular game. Their game styles are very similar in a lot of respects. And now we're seeing a break up the ice, and this is Istis. And we've got Istis, Gorel, and Shays. And we can't really call any of these lines first, second, or third lines. These are just 3 rolling lines that the coaches have had an opportunity to be able to develop a lot of tools in the toolbox when you're coaching at an event like this. Every kid who's here has been invited to take part in the event, and we're just hearing wonderful stories from families who are having a great time themselves while they're here. Kind of a neat thing. And there is a nice initial shot, and just high. Already Blue generating way more offense than they were able to get going this point early on. Gorel, Istis, and Lintott, the one line, and then of course that line from before, Livingston, Quo, and Bergen. And they were very strong. Livingston with 2 goals in the last game. And that low shot going just wide. And we're going to see just how much coverage they're going to allow and how much protection. And Bodnarchuk and Morley were pretty much left to their own devices in that last game. The Blue already looking like they are taking a little bit better care. Oh, and that being said, there we go. In the first 2 losses that they experienced in the tournament, they were typically uncontested shots like that, and that's good to see. And I know that Coach Keller will enjoyed a little bit more of that defensive focus from his boys, obviously wanting to kind of get back to that competitiveness. Hey, BioSteel, one of our platinum sponsors. Quick shout out to them. They just dropped the hydration variety pack at Costco Canada. 24 bottles, 3 unreal flavors with 0 sugar. This is clean, healthy hydration for athletes and families. Make sure you grab some the next time you go to Costco. Thanks for their support of the event here. And Gontoniuk now work his way in. Walker, Parkinson, Gontoniuk, and Parkinson with the shot, and another save by Bodnarchuk. And if you watch throughout the playoffs, even in the NHL, Kelly Rudy talked frequently about his respect for the goalie's ability to kind of battle. And there's a lot of demons that playing that position must have, and Bodnarchuk's been working that all weekend, and he's got himself back on track. 4 shots on net, and they weren't easy saves. Very, very good bounce back, and so much of this weekend is based on the off-ice portion too. Jason Podolin, the coordinator of the event, I had an opportunity to see some of his presentation to these boys at the midday today, and he talks about mindset, and very much this has been an excellent opportunity for these boys in blue, especially just to talk about what things feel like and how to arrange and change things when things aren't going very well. Having had a minus 26 goal differential after the 2 games at the end, we are seeing a really wonderful bounce back on this part. Now we've got Grimm on a break coming in, and Fellner's with him, and Filson. That Grimm, Fellner, and Filson line has basically been intact the entire tournament. And they have obviously built some chemistry between them. Now Pilipow and Team Black looking very similar to what they did in the last 2 games of that. And here's Pilling now, and Pilling working with Barber. Pardon me. Pilling working with Kelly. Getting my team colors mixed up here. Kelly and Kelly, and that's Serrano Parker working his way in. Jackie Beck trying to put a body on a little bit, and there's Cicchini, and he gets that puck up into Fellner's hands, and Roth and Cicchini working with their forwards, trying to get the puck broken up the ice. And a little body on there too. That's something that's been developing as the weekends progress too. A little bit more of the physical component of the game starting to take hold. And Roth gets in there and almost pushing his player there, and you're going to start seeing a couple bodies. And sometimes you're seeing these guys fall. They're getting tired. I mean, I've just been sitting up here commentating the games, and I'm starting to feel a little fatigued, and I haven't done anything out there. These young fellas giving their all here. Istis now, and he finds they've got Istis and Souster building up some chemistry. And Shays now, Shays having a look, trying to see if there's somebody available up front. And on the point, Holland. Istis now, he's going to go and take a look. Nice move. And started to see that a lot, and he gets that shot. These boys have got the ability to put a puck in space, and they make something happen in that one. Almost. Shays had a very good chance in front, and a fist bump from the official to Tayo Odutoju, or pardon me, yeah, Tayo Odutoju, the Regina Blue. He comes up big with that save. That's only the second shot on net he's faced, and that's probably the best scoring chance of either team so far early in this game. 10:39 to go in the first. And we got our face-off, Souster. And Riley Souster playing his minor here right in this facility this past year, playing for Martensville. And he's able to get that puck back. And a shot on net, and there's the tip. And we've been watching that develop over time. Not sure if that's part of the coach Ryan Keller's philosophy with these guys. Get someone in front, get a good strong shot from the point. We had a lot of good traffic in front, and there we see it again, Clausen this time. And there goes Christian and Gontoniak now, and he comes across. Gontoniak, and this is something we didn't see from Team Blue for a while there, that ability to get back in on the defensive side, and I think they're starting to figure this out, that some journey person working their way back is going to result in opportunities offensively that we haven't seen them have for the last couple of games. So 9:50 and no scoring, that's pretty much unheard of so far in the first 6 games. We've seen a lot of scoring, some games over almost into the 20-goal mark. And you can see that all of these players now, probably now that we've got this, not necessarily a do-or-die nature, but the finality of a tournament like this and getting into the final rounds, that's where we see that skill set kind of coming. Here's a break now for Team Black, and look at Pilling come back. Pilling coming back on Grimm. And Grimm able to put that one in between the wickets, and Coach Keller not happy. There looked like there's a little bit of a, I would call it, if you were a basketball player, a moving screen. And generally we don't find these conversations to reveal an awful lot, but I think he was just trying to plant that idea in this young referee's mind that you're not being able to have, there's a little bit of a running interference piece that they want to contest as they're going, and so these young guys doing a really good job for the entire thing, and they may not necessarily agree, but they have been really good at maintaining that competitive focus from up here. And you know what, that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you're going to have things that you agree with, and sometimes you don't, and that's where that mindset comes in again. What are you going to do as the kickback? And look what Blue has decided they're going to do. They're going to help their coach out a little bit. And you know, sometimes in the gamesmanship piece, when a coach is able to have a little respectful conversation, you know, maybe in this case a bit guiding conversation, that a little later on that provides a little bit of opportunity. And this is a development opportunity. You know, it's listed as a development opportunity here for the 68 athletes, but for the guys in stripes. And here we go, we've got ourselves a break. There's Jackie Bick, and he scores. And just like that, you gotta love that as a coach. You don't have any impact when things are out there, and then you've got a player that's able to go, and I mislabeled it, it's Kim. Kim comes through. Yukon Kim with a statement. He is able to put an exclamation point onto Coach Keller's point that perhaps things should still be tied, and in fact it is. That's a huge goal by Yukon Kim and a good pushback, and that keeps his brethren in this. And here, look at this with Blue. Blue with a much different outlook on how things are going here. And things remain tied at the 8:31 to go point here in the first period. And we do love a high-scoring game, but this is equally entertaining when we're starting to see these guys enjoying all facets of the game. Defense, good goaltending, and great playmanship. And we're seeing that. That's kind of what we signed up for. And so now we see Cecchini coming out with Pilipo, changing the defense on the black side. Shays and Istis and Gorel. And Gorel now looking to pick up a puck. Bergen right there on his wing. And Bergen's pass cross ice to Livingstone. And Livingstone has to set it back to Cecchini. And Cecchini gets that dump in and lets Livingstone go in and do his thing. And there's Quo. And here we got a break coming up the ice now. Shays. And just like that, Quo, he's able to turn around Livingstone. And now Istis, and we've got a 3-on-2 here. Istis making his way around with some speed. And he's staying on that puck. Cecchini right matching his every step there. And a D-to-D pass, and Pilipo now able to get it out. And Quo, good. Look at the back check there from Istis. And Quo, shots aren't quite as easily set up now, and you can see a little bit of back check pressure is making all the difference for Team Blue here. And they actually lead in the shots category at this point. Scheidel goes across to his line mate. And that's Walker, and there's Roth pinching in, and he's been a very physical presence in this, and he's also contributed. He's got a heavy shot, and he and Scheidel, a perfect partner pairing there. Very similar games, and they got a lefty and a righty on the defensive side, and now we'll see what these two guys can do. And they keep everything out in front of Odi Toju, and that's what you want to see. And now Williams and Christian come out on the defensive side and lining up. Souster lining up for the draw here. And Souster, we'll call that one draw win, and up comes Walter in his pass. What a save! And Bondarchuk keeps that puck out of the net. And we had an opportunity to talk with his family a little bit in between contests, and certainly the emotions of being put into a spot and having a tough goal, he's had an opportunity to regroup, and he is showing the form that he showed early on in the tournament, especially in the third period of the first game where he was just locked down, and we're seeing that again. And now we've got a break for Blue, and that puck slides right through the crease. Serrano Parker, and somebody's lost their stick, and they're just trying to have a little conversation about who's got who. And Serrano Parker now, he still battling for that thing, and now we've got the break. Walter, he's going to have a look at the puck here, and a great defensive play. Probably got his stick in there a little bit, but that cuts down. We weren't seeing those kinds of penalties before, or even that kind of effort. Pilling certainly buying in probably to a message that's been repeated a few times of we need to take care of things on our own, and that's kind of the support that attendee needs, and they're getting that as a reward in terms of Bondarchuk really backstopping. But we're going to see the power play here for Team Black. Walter's going to take this draw. Jackson Walter coming out of Prince Albert, making the trek down here for the weekend. And already Fellner picks up that puck. And that centering pass to Kim, the goal scorer for Team Blue. And Serrano Parker wheels and fires it. And that's going to give an opportunity for a couple seconds to come off the clock in this PK. And now Walter working his way up, getting a little bit of power play time. He's going to make the most of it, and he's down. He gives that pass over to Pilipo. Pilipo fires it over to Cecchini, and Cecchini not afraid to look for something. He's very mobile with the puck, and he uses that ability to stretch that out with that lateral movement that we really like to see from kids at this age. And there's Fellner now. Fellner down to, looks, is that Walter? Or no, that's Bergen. And now there's the shot. And that shot making made much more possible by his movement there. And now let's talk about Pilipo a little bit. He's been solid. And we've talked in the last couple of rounds of the games, just reflecting, we know that we've got a lot of players who are lighting up the score sheet. There's a lot of place in a game like this, especially as we get later around by these D guys. And there's a shot. And you can see now Bodnerchuk, way more confidence there. He came out and fronted that, and now making it a little harder to score on them. And you see that with the scorers now having to be a little bit riskier with their shooting, and they're missing the net. And that may not be necessarily because the shooter's error, and it has a lot to do with the goaltender coming out and making nothing available. And now Cecchini coming up, and Cecchini's going to take some opportunities to make some space for himself and his teammates, trying to draw people to him. And the Blues, patient Pelican, and Cecchini still going, and he takes a shot, and that kills the rest of the penalty. And now out comes Pilling. And once again, you can see a comparison between Cecchini and Pilling, both wearing that number 7. And that number reserved probably for the largest defenseman on a team to a certain extent. And Lintott now, Nate Lintott, 2 goals in this tournament so far. And there's Riley Souster. And we had an opportunity to see Souster very comfortable, especially when he gets that puck below the goal line. Hard to knock off, and really loves and thrives being in that position there. And the more that Blue can get him down there, the more success they're going to have when that line gets out there onto, especially in an offensive spot. And now we've got to spot Livingstone. And Livingstone trying something a little different. Almost looked like he was trying to shoot a changeup, for lack of a better term. We've seen him light things up with shots to the up. And I'm not sure whether that was an intention or... But once again, once the goaltender starts to assert their presence, in this case, Bodnerchuk with 8 out of 9 saves so far in this period, you start seeing shooters a little less comfortable, and that might have been what we saw there. And back here again, Keenan Williams, and he's another one of these really solid guys. You very rarely see him out of position, and he just thrives on stymieing offensive players. And this is a game where he's going to really shine. Roth, he wasn't able to get full weight of his shot behind that, but he manages to keep it alive and into the corner. And now Blue, there they go, they get that puck out, and Shays is going to provide a little bit of pressure here now. Roth calmly puts it in a space where Scheidl's able to make a decision without any pressure. And there is a shot, and we're going to get an offensive zone face-off, which gives Coach Keller and Coach Baird opportunity to get a changeover in his personnel. The Up My Hockey podcast, hosted by Jason Podolin, the podcast for players chasing their full potential. From mindset to performance, this is your go-to source for unlocking the next level in your game. Jason's credo: grow your mindset, grow your game. Listen now and explore mindset coaching at upmyhockey.com. And we're resuming action here, picking up Kim now, the goal scorer for Team Blue, battling down there, and they get the better of Pilipo. And now Kelly, we'll see what he's able to do. And Kelly over to Pilling. And Serrano Parker cycles it back to Kim. And Pilipo and Kim still battling for that puck. And now out comes Bergen. Now we see Bergen, and a shot, and that one easily handled by Bodnerchuk. That's the 11th shot for Team Black. 35 seconds to go in this first period, and we're knotted at 1. A. Kane Hockey is providing a prize pack to the Sidney Crosby Award winner. The award is chosen by the coaches at the end of the tournament. Don't miss the opportunity to gear up like a pro. Go to A. Kane Hockey. They're offering discounts at the moment, 25% off for all UMH-68 athletes. That code's valid until July 1st. And that pass in front, and another save by Bodnerchuk. And not necessarily he's having an opportunity to see more of the puck in front of him and less odd man rushes. And there's Nate Lintott adding himself. And you got to be pretty happy if you're Team Blue and Ryan Keller having a chance to maybe settle these fellas down and get more to it. And this is probably the blueprint for what we're going to see here over the next 4 games. Teams starting to tighten things up in an event where all of the teams are going to make it into that final set of 4 games. Maybe we're seeing that spot where these guys are now set up to play their best all-around games, and that's reflected in the score 1-1. We're going to give you the scoring summary here right away, and it's short and sweet. Started with Brody Grimm, number 15, from a feed from Jax Fellner. That put up Team Black in a familiar territory, and then after a question and a conversation between coach and officials, young Yukon Kim taking matters into his hands and deciding that he's going to level the playing field, manages to sweep in and takes a feed from Jennings Kelly and Ben Bodnerchuk, the goaltender, and he's able to go in and even this game out, and we stand at 1-1. And Bodnerchuk picking up the assist there. He's the second goalie to have picked up an assist. One happened earlier in the game this morning. And it's always a nice thing for a goaltender to get his name on the score sheet in a positive way. Just a great period for Team Blue. Team Black has been playing very level, perfect hockey all the way through too. And so both squads got to be happy going into the break. Thanks for joining us. We're up here on the mezzanine level in between periods, and I'm joined by the head coach of the AAA U18 Warman Wildcats, Courage Bear, and he's coaching Team Black this weekend. Courage, what brought you to the event?
I just think it's an opportunity to give back, kind of see the younger kids coming through the pipeline so you can keep tabs on them, and we're always looking again for U18 to see what kids are coming up and keep an eye on them.
Got a couple of really good local area guys out there right now, even a couple of Warman products.
Yeah, there's a couple. I mean, Bergen's local. There's some other Saskatoon kids that are, the first time getting to see them. Like you said, you don't spend a ton of time watching the younger age groups, but yeah. It's good to have some of the local guys. What's the other? Livingston is another young kid local. Yeah. So yeah, it's good to have them awesome on the team.
Very short period of time you have with these boys. What would be the kind of key points to a Courage Bear hockey program? What do you want these guys to experience this weekend?
Well, I think one, you want to make sure they have fun. The game has to be fun. I think the other thing you're just trying to instill, just let them understand that the finer details of the game matter. Little fine things that make a difference in the game, and especially the outcome, and as well as just how hard you got to compete. And as you move up, it gets harder and harder, and so that's what you're looking to these kids to make sure they kind of understand. Of course, they're young; they don't get the big picture yet, but hopefully they take little tidbits out of the weekend. In
game 1, your team had a pretty good turnaround on the pushback in the second period. What did you tell them after the first period?
I just thought we started real good, and then we kind of got away from what was giving us success using we're a bigger team. We got good size up front and trying to utilize that to our advantage. We're getting to the net and being hard and heavy kind of, and like I said, and so it was just kind of stay the course and take a little deep breath and let's reset and get at them again. And I think we turned it around, but again we kind of went back, and it's just young kids being young kids.
So you're going to get a junior program, it seems, in Warman. How does that going to fit in with the Wildcat framework? And
yeah, hopefully, we can have some sort of a good working partnership. Obviously, different ownership, different kind of goals somewhat, still trying to bring hockey to the region and competitive hockey, so for people to watch. I don't know how much of an impact it'll have on our program. Obviously, fan base, it's sponsorship. I'm assuming there's going to be some challenges for both teams now in the area because there's only limited money in people's pockets and sponsors. So I think that'll be, we'll have to look at things differently there. But I think from an on-ice perspective, hopefully there's synergies that we can look to work together.
Perfect. What kind of advice do you have for the boys and players that play for your regular team and these guys of things they could focus on during the summer?
Well, I think one of the things I told the group last night is I said, I think kids spend a whole bunch of time in their skates and not really taking a break. I think it's good for them to get away from the rink parts of the summer. And there's other ways you can train as a multi-sport athlete, or just your fitness, your mental performance, or even just giving yourself a break from being in the daily grind of hockey. I think that was a message for me, is obviously you got to put time in, but I think there's also a decompression stage where you got to just get away from it all. And even us as coaches, like I'm just now getting back into it, where I kind of stepped away from, a good month of not being on the ice, and clear my mind a little bit, to refocus.
Yeah. A lot of this event is about kind of like hockey and hockey life, away from the rink, and as much of what we're seeing on the ice there. What kind of messaging do you think is important for families who are, coming maybe to this camp and experiencing that elite level of hockey for the first time? What are the things that work for family sports?
Well, I think one, obviously you need the family support, but I think it's also important to keep things in perspective, and it's a process, and everybody's path is different. It's not always linear. I think, you got to understand that there's going to be ebbs and flows, and everybody's going to have a different path to where they want to go. Obviously you need the family support, but it has to be the kids that want to do it. It can't be, mom or dad wanting to do it for them. So I think that's important, and you got to know your child. Is it what they want to pursue, and because there's a certain expectation, a level of commitment if you really want to chase the game at a high level, I think.
Well, thanks for taking time out of a busy weekend to join us up here at Courage. All the best for the rest of the weekend and with your season next year with the Wildcats. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, we're back for period 2. This is semifinal number 1 on a Saturday night here in Martensville. And we've got ourselves a dandy. We have not had a tie score after the first period of play in any of the games. And so we've got 40 minutes to decide who's going to go forward to the gold medal game. And Souster, the Martensville Marauder, takes that first face-off, and Quo on the black side taking it. It looked like Quo won that one. And we're getting a little bit of body now starting to show up, and that becoming part of their game as we go on. And we got bodies flying all over the place, still looking. That puck haven't gotten out, and there we go. We're out of the neutral zone now. And we are, that shot, and again, not sure how that popped out so easily in front of Bodnerchuk, but he's up for the challenge again. And there's a tip in front, and Bodnerchuk with an active stick there. It looks like the net's a little bit off its mooring. That doesn't stop Bodnerchuk. He's locked in now, and he, just like a lacrosse goalie, you can see he's changing. He's put that back in. I'm not sure if it's set. And so we'll see if that factors in or if the officials see it. Back to the action, pardon me, and it comes to Istis now. Istis, and he stripped to the puck by Bergen. Bergen met at the line, Gorel, and Blue not intent to make things easy now, and that puck just picked up by Bergen. Look at the numbers back, 4 blue jerseys. And that back check, these boys have bought in again. They lost that for a little bit of time, but they're going to come back in. And you can see the confidence in Bodnerchuk returned. And that's got to be looking very good when you're looking up as a goaltender, and he is rewarding his teammates. And has a little shot there for Roth too. That's good. We're starting to see that compete level has risen for Team Blue. Shots on goal here at 18-21. We still see Team Black carrying the load. 17 shots compared to 8 for Team Blue. And Guntoniuk taking the draw, and Gorel on blue side. It looks like Gorel comes out winning that. And up we've got Istis. And Istis, with some purpose, gets that puck on net. And Roth and Scheidel really making it known they don't like anybody near their goaltender. 2 imposing figures there. 2 of the larger guys in this tournament, and they're starting to get comfortable asserting that presence there. And we've got Istis now. Istis with the draw, not won by Guntoniuk. And now we've got a 2-on-1 break here by Team Black. Team Black with the 2-on-1. And again, good back check, and Bodnerchuk up for the challenge. Bodnerchuk again, off his pad. And now rolling back into his zone, Pilling. And Pilling off to his Barber. Barber springs it around to Shays. Shays can't chip it past Scheidel though, and he does now. And that shot off the crossbar. I think we need to keep a crossbar count up here, Alvin. That's about 9 that I've seen in the course of the tournament. But again, Bodnerchuk's doing a really good job of cutting angles down, and Team Black having to be a little bit pickier with their shot selection. And look at Kelly right in front there, having no business keeping that puck anywhere close to that dangerous scoring area. And a good block here, and this is Shays. Shays in pursuit. And Cicchini just content to pop it out. Pilling. And now we got 3-on-1. Let's see the back check. And Blue going, and now Blue's got a player all the way up, and he's got it beautifully timed. Let's see. And Kim. Once again, low, great pass. I think that was, I'm not sure who passed that up to him, but Kim made absolutely sir, and grabs the first Blue lead in a long time, and there is some energy on that bench now we haven't seen for a couple of games. Coach Keller getting in there and getting that so important to have that experience behind the bench when they're struggling, and on their 10th shot they're able to pull ahead in this game for the first time. And now let's see what Keith carries on, and he's intent on putting that puck right back in there. Just a long stretch pass there right on the stick of Kim, and you can hear the bench all chiming in as well. And here comes Kelly now. He's defending, goes to take the shooter, and that was a wise choice. Grimm unable to get that puck anywhere near the net. That was a good choice on Kelly's part. And now that puck fired in, and it's picked up immediately by Keith. And he takes a chance for a second look, and Jakubek gets the puck onto Kim. Already 2 goals in this game, and he's looking for the hat-trick goal. And now we've got the name of the Braden Gorel. Gorel had that long stretch pass, and now we're starting to see a little bit more of an aggressive pinch. And Blue having a little bit of opportunity now. When they're not digging themselves out of the hole, they can play a totally different dynamic of the game. And once again, we see numbers back. Good back check by Kim. So when your top goal scorer is also leading the charge coming back, that's a good sign. And I'm sure the faithful in cheering for Team Blue are breathing a sigh of relief. That's been a tough watch for the last couple of games, and now holding a lead, they have an opportunity to continue. And Holland there, Holland, great work by Pilling. Holland initially checking it in, and then Souster now manages to find an outlet pass up to Nate Lintott. Lintott taking a look, matched up. Lintott patiently looking for somebody open, unable. Good coverage defensively by Team Black, but that puck, Souster puts it right back into the zone. Blue with numbers and another great pinch. Oh, super move by Holland, and he isn't quite able to pull it right down to his stick to get a shot, but look at the back check now. That's a commitment and an excellent use. Good no call there. That was just simply the player falling. And we're getting a little bit of rough stuff there. You know, somewhere in the back of your mind as Team Black, you were maybe licking your chops thinking this was going to be an easy feast, and having to retool themselves now facing a 1-goal deficit. We've seen a few tempers flare minorly. They want this. This is an end-of-year tournament for that, and there's bragging rights up. And Istis now, look at him coming in with a head of steam. Istis pulls up, looks, oh! And he had Shays there, and just broken up right at the last second, and now Bergen coming down. And we've seen Bergen elevate his game when things have started to become tighter, and so we're going to watch him take more of an influence, and we start seeing these players that 3 or 4 games in, this is the 4th game now, very quick for teams and players to start to look at some of those leaders, and Bergen definitely positioning himself in that role as someone to depend on. Of course, the scoring depth of this Black team has been one of the stories of the tournament, along with the stellar player of their defense and goaltending. But Blue is equal to the challenge now. And I, for one, along with everybody else in attendance, is delighted. We wanted to see some tight games here, not some of those lopsided scores we had before. And oh, that puck coming through. And Bodnerchuk, he's watching that. A couple of bounces there. And he's now up to 19. Well, 18 shots on goal still. The report, 12:50 to go in the second period. And Blue playing a much more disciplined, tight-checking style. And they're starting to see the results of that. Blacks, though, still. What a save. Got the paddle down. That might have been the save of the tournament. And based on the sound, we couldn't see it from up here, but that wasn't a stick shaft. That was the paddle outstretched by Bodnerchuk. And I'm going to take a peek over during this stop in the action, but I'm pretty sure Alvin up here hopefully has that as an instant replay. That was fantastic. That was going in for sure, and I don't know how Bodnarchuk managed to keep it out, but that low center of gravity pays off with that guy. And now we're starting to see those individual battles, guys just working their tails off to make sure that they win those puck fights. And now Filson, he calmly puts it up into action. We've got a potential 3-on-1, but Pilling, sensing that the line change put him wisely, steers it out of harm's way, and now the rest of his team, Morrow, having a chance to chip that forward, and now coming on down Lintott with the shot, and it just deflects all dangerously, but it goes wide. And now coming around, looks like Williams, he finds that outlet pass, not quite to Filson, and Blue now making it a little bit more difficult, and we'll watch Souster here. You know he'd love nothing more than to get his hands on that puck down in his favorite space, down low. And now Blue, way more freewheeling, and Pilling, he's got some room, and we're going to watch him carry this up until somebody presents themselves, and there it is. And Istis now looking. Istis still looking. He's running out of room, and he manages to keep that puck alive in play, and now Blue has to regroup, and Holland looking, and we could have pylons out there. You can see that drill almost manifest itself, but it's so important trying to make good decisions with the puck, and a really well contested Pilling has really upped his defensive game. He is becoming very difficult, even in odd man rushes. We've been watching him just gain that confidence, and now here's Istis with the pass across Shays, and Shays gets a good shot on net. It goes off probably the side of the net, but Otitoju challenged there. Blue still directing pucks and energy in the right direction, and now comes Bergen on a 2-on-1, and Kelly and Bergen off the post, and you got to be good to be lucky, and in that case Bodnarchuk's had a tough go in this tournament, and he battled just like they talked about in some of those other broadcasts that we've been watching lately. And as a goaltender, you gotta admire, as a player, his ability to bounce back, and that post may not have been in his control, but he certainly was due. And Blue a little bit offside, and that is a vote of confidence from your coaches. Blue has been swapping goalies out at this point in the game, and you could see Coach Keller and the entire bench almost calling his name and waving him and just saying, "Oh, we're going to keep you where you are." And so that's tremendous opportunity. What a great opportunity, and what an achievement for that young man to earn that trust when things have been so tough. And Black has arguably been the most consistent team in this tournament. And so we'll see if that determination continues, but a lot of it has to do with the guys in front of them, and they are playing much more inspired. Clausen there with the shot, and you gotta love Cicchini. He's like, I don't like that, I'm gonna bat your stick away. And Jack Quebec is just going, where's the call? And we'll watch it. And he might be going to the butt. He is, in fact, and probably rightly so. You get a chop to the stick like that. He chopped his stick right out of his hands, and so things starting to roll Blues' way as they tilt the ice when it matters the most. And Parker Serrano, or Serrano Parker, pardon me. Serrano Parker will take the draw here. And Serrano Parker, that puck gets onto the stick and cleared by Walter as Black is on the penalty kill for the first time in this game, and up ice we see, and we haven't seen this yet, and Kelly's generally described as a player who likes to rush with the puck, and that might be the first time we've seen him do that in the tournament, and that puts things into a really good spot for his team. And now Clausen back, Clausen to Shays. Shays calmly putting it into the corner now, and Parker Serrano unfortunately runs into the official, and that allows Black some time and space to get that puck hooked up. And it's Cicchini in the box for Team Black. And things starting to work their way. That touch pass, and you can see Blue has their timing down. These players come from all over the province and in Alberta. We got about 12 players from Alberta, the rest of the 68 coming from Saskatchewan. I am aware of only 1 or 2 of these guys who are actual teammates with each other, and in those instances, Hugh Hamilton, the Prairie's coordinator of this, the provincial coordinator, made sure not to put them together, so they've jumbled these guys up, but they've tried to create complementary squads as a result. And you can see that in the play now, 4 games in. And we are starting to get some pretty creative play and some chemistry. And these line juggles that Coach Keller made here, Blues probably made more juggling of their lines, trying to find an answer. And I think they've got a thing. And here comes Nate Lintott. He's been going all the way. And Lintott scores! Nate Lintott, wow! He just took that puck and decided he was going to take it for a walk, and he puts his team up by 2. It might be a good time for me to say I've had the pleasure of teaching this kid, Nate, and just a wonderful all-around human being, good-natured guy, and that's his 3rd goal of the tournament. So maybe a little bit of a shine on there from me. His family's got to be pretty excited there, and his teammates. 2-goal lead now for Team Blue, and they look like they're wanting some more. And Coach Bear's going to have a chat trying to get his players rallied back to the point that they were. Because right now, it looks all Blue, and we see that with the icing call. They're just looking for an opportunity to buy themselves some time, and Team Blue definitely are a team with confidence renewed. And Gorel is going to take this face-off now, and Filson on the other side. So Gorel lined up with Istis, and it looked like Filson with the win on that one. And Keith now battling down there on the boards, and almost a break. And now Gorel gets that shot. And Bodnarchuk, from what it sounds like, old Benny Bodnarchuk, not only is he pitching well, doing a great job playing goal, he's now got his 2nd assist of the game, and he's among team leaders in points for the tournament too. And I know I'm talking about him a fair amount, but after watching the struggles in the first 2 games, or the last 2, you really had to feel for the guy, and what a way to keep himself into this tournament. And he's starting to get that, and I hope he's feeling well and his family are doing well, because he's having a heck of a game here, and probably the mental battle of the tournament so far, being able to put himself back in a spot where he can contribute for his team. And his teammates are certainly enjoying that, and they're enjoying themselves here as they are back to some of their winning ways. 6:24 to go. Team Black looking for a solution, and they have been so consistent. This is going to be an excellent finish, because Team Black still has a lot to say in this tournament. But it looks right now, Shays now coming in, and Gorel coming in. Shays with the shot, and Shays going in for the rebound, but Teo Oti Toju, he's battling himself too, and he was able to put the stop, and fresh sets of legs are able to come out here now. Hey, we haven't talked about Bames Physiotherapy for a while, and they've been a fantastic sponsor here. Player safety being top priority for UMH-68. We're really proud to partner with Bames Physiotherapy here in Martensville, help make this all happen. Bames Physiotherapy, trusted care for every stage of the game. And back to the action here. As the time ticks away, 5:54 now to go in the 2nd period. We're going to start seeing some of this drama ratchet up, and we've been all waiting for this as we get to these final rounds. That puck bounces into the bench, and so we're going to have a face-off right in front of our booth here, right in front of the Team Black bench. And Parkinson and Serrano Parker. And Serrano Parker been a little quiet here in this game, and you can tell he's about ready to explode for some action here too. Polland, he pops, And a good challenge there from Clausen. Sometimes you're on no man's land there and you decide whether you're either going to challenge or you're going to have to get that gap. And he decides to challenge, and it's a smart choice because it ends up in a shot on net down in favor of Team Blue, and they're starting to cut into that shot total. They now up to 16 shots, 5:16 to go in this period, and they hold a 3-1 lead. And now Riley Souster, the Delisle product, lines up, and we'll just get through the glass, and that draw looks like it was won by Grimm. Now we get his number, and his signature Navy helmet should have been the tell. Souster battling down there, and there are 7 guys looking for that puck, and you can tell that the compete factor is starting to go up, and there is a good solid push back there, and we're just trying to get the number. They're now starting to move a little quicker here. Walker Morrow providing a little bit of forecheck pressure, and now Morrow and Souster. Souster now in his comfort zone. Watch him here, he's hard to knock off that puck. And he gave Roth everything that he could. Roth coming out a little bit the better there, and Scheidel now gets the puck up. Berga not sure where it is. He didn't know it was just within feet of him. And out comes Grimm. Grimm and Filson. And Ben Bodnarchuk flashes the leather and gets the cheer. The Blue faithful are really appreciating the work that he's put in here. Great to see that bounce back for that young man, and he gets another fist bump. Gotta love it. The officials here, they recognize a good play when they see it, and that's the second fist bump we've seen. This is the first one for Team Blue. They're having a good time out there themselves, the officials. And Bodnarchuk, another save. And Pilling here looking up very patiently. Shays pops it up to Gorel. Gorel now, he's going to try to get himself a little space, and he does so with pulling up, and he gets that puck right in front. Shays tied up by Cecchini. Cecchini was able to get his stick there, and looks like Teo Odetoju. I'm going to get that name. Odetoju, he's able to jump on that and force another face-off. Gorel is going to line up. Looks like Mark or Quo and Gorel, and we'll see. Quo's been winning most of these. And that time, a nice clear win right to Pilling. The shot right in front, and I don't think Gorel didn't see it, and I think he took that in a tough spot because he's looking. He didn't see that puck there, but I think he got that right under the rib cage. And that's not a great place to get a puck in, especially when you got a guy like Pilling ripping the shot like that. I'm sure he'll be fine after a couple of seconds. But there's Serrano Parker, or Parker Serrano. And out come a fresh set of legs. Kim, Jakubek, and Parker Serrano, Holland, and Keith out for Team Blue. And Guntoniuk, he's not taking the draw this time. They seem to rotate those guys around. Parkinson this time. Guntoniuk's taking a couple draws here as well. And Blue putting some pressure on here. 3:12 to go, and they enjoy a 2-goal lead. Holland tracking. He breaks that down, and he separates Parkinson from the puck. And there's Serrano Parker. He gets puck up to Jakubek, and now full speed. Yukon Kim, he's already got 2 in this game, and he was looking for that third. That puck directed up and out of play by Maxime Christian. 2:48 to go. Time to acknowledge our sponsor, Boston Pizza at UMH-68. We're grateful for their incredible support. Not only are they fueling our players with meals at the banquet, they're also keeping our coaches energized during lunch at the event. Boston Pizza, good food, good times, proud supporters of youth hockey. And resume play here with Livingston. He had a couple in the previous game, but so far, those Blue defenders have kept that down. Grimm now coming in. Grimm will try to put something on net. And Bodnarchuk makes his 25th save. And that one, he saw the whole way. Great technical save there, and I think that's just becoming the norm here. You see in the officials, they've been doing it with Otitoju too. He must be a goaltender himself, because he's recognizing the pressure these boys are under and appreciating the good work. Kelly coming out now on defense. And Riley Souster lined up, and I think it's it's Grimm that he took the face-off draw. Roth can't quite corral the puck, but he manages, and he puts a body on. Roth taking the opportunity. He had a couple words for Souster afterwards. I think they've been having a little bit of a set too, so that's fun to see those competitions. And so Roth making sure that Souster doesn't have any room to move, and now Grimm comes in. That puck failed to clear. Grimm maybe looking for a little bit of puck luck, trying to get a deflection or so, but that puck sails wide of the net, and now Scheibel's going to have to go back. And I guess he could look at it. He's maybe wearing familiar colors too, the Nipawin Hawks. The colors on display with Team Black, same with the Warman Wildcats, so a little bit of maybe feeling some familiarity. And there is Serrano Parker. And now Serrano Parker comes down, he drops it for Istis. Istis, oh, a shot. You got to get past that big guy there, Scheidel. And that falls out of harm's way, and now it's Black's turn. Bergen going, and look at that, just textbook defensive play. He did not worry about where the puck was. Keith knew the puck was close to him, but he knew it was more important get that position, and he is able to nullify one of the biggest threats out there. And that was Filson, pardon me. And Filson's no slouch as a player as well, and that was fantastic defensive play by Keith. Something that won't reflect on the score sheet, but certainly appreciated in the grand scheme of things. And here's Istis now, and sticks flying all over the place. Maybe we should have a sticks flying count too. We've had a couple of them popping out here. And now Serrano Parker and Kim. That's a dangerous spot for him to shoot from. And once again, there's Serrano Parker and Kim working together in tandem. We're down to 17 seconds, and we've seen Kim score with a very short and a high stick, and we're down to 9.6 seconds. Elite Prospects is the gateway to hockey online since 1999. EliteProspects.com is the #1 statistical hockey resource, serving over 1 million unique visitors weekly. And Iron Ghost Construction, as dedicated platinum partner of UMH-68, Iron Ghost has provided player scholarships at all 4 national events this year. Those funds used to help young athletes chase their dream on and off the ice. And we're down into the final 10 seconds, maybe time enough for a shot. Oh, and that one's sailing through. Jack Quebec maybe want to get that, and Coach Keller's got to be feeling really good about that effort put out by Team Blue. And we are 1 period away, with the lead now solidly in the grips of Team Blue. Coach Barris made some amazing adjustments at the half, and we're gonna take a break in a minute, do the scoring summary, and then we're hoping that Ryland Pierce from the Everett Silvertips will come up, and he is the ambassador for the Team Black. And we'll see what his perspective is on this experience and kids during the weekend. All right, we're pulling up this is game 7, and on the game sheet we're going to pull up, and this is the second period scoring summary. Just 2 goals of note. Yukon Kim started the scoring, putting his team ahead in the second period with a nice 16-47 when he was sprung by a beautiful pass by Braden Gorel. And then towards the end of that, at 7:14, Nate Lintar, taking a feed off of Ben Bodnerchuk, goes in coast to coast on the power play, and he scores the goal. And Ben Bodnerchuk picking up his 2nd assist of the game, among the game leaders now in points and obviously in saves as well. Stay tuned, we're going to have our ambassador, Ryland, up share his thoughts on how things are going in the tournament. All right, we're here with Ryland Pierce, local product actually of the Everett Silvertips. He is the team ambassador for Team Black. And Ryland, let's just start by asking you how you came to become part of this tournament.
Yeah, so pretty much Hugh asked my skills coach kind of if I was interested. He knew I was from Martensville, so I quickly jumped on it. You know, it's a way of me giving back to the community and giving back to the game that I've grew up playing my entire life. So yeah.
One feature of this event is the ambassador, you know, having one for every team, and all four of you guys playing in the WHL. Tell me what it's like working with the boys. How are they receiving you, and what's the experience been like?
It's been good. I know when I was their age, I'd always want some WHL players to be around, especially in an event like this where you only have 4 days to kind of spend with the team. You try to give them as much coaching advice as you can. You try to teach them the rings of kind of what it's like at the next level, what coaching's like the way they gotta pretty much prepare for every game, the way they gotta keep their mind in it the whole entire game. But I've enjoyed it. I always love working with younger kids and giving back to them. And, yeah.
Did you have an opportunity when you were playing with Warman to work with Coach Bear, and tell me a little bit about your experience and maybe a chance to get back and have a different experience working with him?
Yeah, well, the first year was COVID year in Warman. He was the assistant coach, and then the head coach that was supposed to coach that year left for the PA Raiders as an assistant coach who just got the job as the head coach now. So Courage hopped in as the head coach, but no, I've enjoyed being with Courage. He's a coach that he doesn't cut corners. He tells you how it is, and you know I love working with Courage. He might be one of my favorite coaches. We had a really good relationship when I played AAA with him, and I've enjoyed the whole weekend with him and guest coach Brock Harrison as well, who's working as an assistant coach with Courage right now. So, but no, I've loved working with Courage.
Awesome. You've been known to throw it down a little bit there, you know, doing a little research, found some of the clips on Hockey Paints TV. Tell me a little bit about how you might coach a bit of that physical aspect. You can see the boys kind of learning about what that looks like, and is there a role for that in 13, or?
Not at this age yet. But like you said, they're new to contact. I'm trying to teach them the best as I can of kind of what to do when you're going into a corner, get low, 2 hands on your stick, just the little things that will help them grow. But on the fighting part, I'm not teaching no fighting. Not really something you can do in U13. You might end up in the box or suspended, so no.
You'll have to leave that up to their internet searches, I guess.
Yeah.
We're so appreciative of having you up. We had to ask you that question, do something a little different here, but appreciate your patience, and thanks so much for contributing back to the event. We hope that you'll do it again in future years. So
yeah, thank you for having me.
Great work, Ryland, and good luck. back, and you can tell both teams into this contest. This is the first semifinal of two, and if the second game has anything close to this, we're in for a treat here. 4 periods of hockey remaining on this Saturday, and then we get to the medal rounds as we wrap up what has sounded like an amazing experience for these young men and their families. And we'll talk more about that, of course, the overall experience of the Up My Hockey 68 brand and what the intent of Jason and his crew are aiming for. But by all standards, it sounds like this has been an outstanding success. And we're seeing it played right in front of us. Some of the best hockey talent you're going to see in that 2012 born era, and already that ice having a factor. And here comes Shays, and he gets that shot on net. And both teams returning the same goaltenders. It looks like both tendies playing very well. And the coach is not looking to make any changes. Filson now coming down in, circling behind the net, looking for Grimm, and puck cycled back down and low again, and this time it's Grimm. Grimm feeds it back, and lots of time now. Big shot from the point. That coming courtesy of Grant, Owen Grant, playing out of Alberta. And the shot off the side of the net here, and now coming up. You get a nice speed. Fenner up, finds Filson. That line's been together the entire weekend. And now Nate Lintott, one of the goal scorers, he had that power play marker late in the second period. And so you gotta be mindful of that. And then we've been watching Grant and Souster having a little bit, and they're having some words. And we talked to Ryland Pierce just a little bit about that physical aspect, and I know he said there's not, and I agree, there's no room for those fisticuffs, but a little bit of that, jockeying back and forth, and that's starting to find its way into the game, and especially as these young men start to make the adaptation for body contact and that element of the game. And we're seeing the officials doing a good job of allowing it not to dictate the game. And Livingston there, almost Livingston, and Bondarchuk with the kick out, and he kicks that puck out, prevents it from sliding across, and it looked like Cecchini might have pinched in and had a crack at it. Now Cecchini's going to work his way in, and a contested shot. That one is knocked, and that puck off the iron, and Blue, they didn't have any bounces for them the night before, and now they're getting all the luck, and we're going to get a penalty. Cecchini off the post, and just like that, things have rolled their way back down, and as I said, that ice starting to slope in favor of Team Blue, and that sequence of events very evident of that. Puck rings off the post, and then the rush up, and now Team Blue in control of their destiny. They are on the power play for the next 2 minutes. 18:02 elapsed, and immediately the draw one, Pilling. And Pilling puts the puck on net, and right there, Jack Quebec. And Jack Quebec, Serrano Parker working around, and he's patient. He is putting that puck down, and Kelly gets it. Kelly up, and that shot by Pilling, and that had some heat on it. And that was a good job by Teo Odetuju to pick it out of the air and force the face-off. 19 seconds elapsed on the penalty, and the same lines are sticking it out. Puck back to Pilling again, and now on the hands of Kim. Kim looking for the hat-trick goal, and that puck cleared now all the way down. And Bondarchuk probably going to pick up another shot on goal. That would have gone in if he hadn't been there. 25 shots on net. He's stopped 24. And now Serrano Parker looking, and he dishes it off into the corner. Puck out, and a shot on net, and that puck is active in there, and a shot and a goal. And we knew it was only a matter of time before Serrano Parker was going to find the back of the net. And right at a perfect time for his team. Spins, shoots, and fires, and makes no doubt. That rebound seemingly sitting there for a few minutes, or well, seconds. And Serrano Parker able to cash in, and Team Blue up by a score 4-1, 16:58 to go. As a dedicated platinum partner of UMH-68 Iron Ghost Construction has provided player scholarships at all 4 events. These funds are used to help young athletes chase their dreams on and off the ice. Special thanks to Iron Ghost Construction, our platinum sponsor. And now Team Black are looking for an answer here. 4 unanswered goals by Team Blue. And Shays comes in, and we weren't able to get Istis unable to come and check back in offside. And so we're going to get a face-off here right in front of Team Black bench. And we're going to see Gorel. And Gorel and Filson this time on the draw. And Filson, he's been really productive at the face-off circle during the tournament.
Goal scored by number 14, Santiago.
And Scheidel just flicking it up, putting it into a space and looking for Grimm to get down there. And Keith over to Clausen. That puck comes out and over to Istis. Istis with the head of steam, and Cicchini was able to just chip it loose, and now the puck down and delayed offside called. And Grimm wasn't able to hear that referee talking about that offside, and we're getting our face off. Looks like it'll be the dot in front of the blue bench now. For youth hockey players, Elite Prospects is your very own online showcase to highlight your achievements and help secure future playing opportunities. Coaches, scouts, and schools at every level of the game consider Elite Prospects their one-stop shop to discover future stars. Roth now, he comes in, puts the puck that's steered into the corner by Bondarchuk. And now coming up the right side, Souster, and he gets that puck on net. And Oditoju covering, and there's Roth, the prison guard, standing right in front, and he's not allowing anybody near that cage. I should say the sentry. He's standing his ground there, keeping all that traffic away from the front of the net, giving his goaltender the best chance he's got. Now Parkinson took the draw, and he's unable to clear the zone. And now looking at these two boys coming into the corner, Roth taking on Morrow, 2 Alberta kids, and maybe a little bit of rivalry between the two of them. The Elite Hockey League, now we're starting to see a little bit of frustration perhaps creeping into Team Black. And Blue all too comfortable to allow that to occur. They are feeling in their control here, and a little bit of an opportunity for a break, and that covered quickly. Looked like Kelly was able to get across and take away that chance, and now Black in control again, and it's Holland actually providing that. And that puck out in front, good coverage from the defense. Another stop by Bondarchuk. And now puck in front, off the crossbar again. Okay, crossbar count, 10 shots. And Grimm can't figure out how that went. Lintott looking for the feed across. And this time nothing doing, but that could have made things a lot more interesting, that shot. It just hit the crossbar, inches away from chipping into that lead. And we're going to see Black with some of this resolve. They have been very, very successful throughout, and you get the sense that a goal here might start that fire up again. Jakubek in front to Serrano, or to Parker Serrano, and that puck going right by Pilling, and Keith is able to get back. Walter in pursuit. Walter keeps that gap, and he's able to freeze Pilling and get that puck out into a dangerous spot. Now we've got a 2-on-1, and it's Kim. And Kim puts the puck on to Jackie Beck. Kim with the puck, and a save there in front. Kim still in control. That puck laying in the middle of the ice. And out it comes Team Black. And tell you what, if you're a goaltender and you see Yukon Kim coming in on a 2-on-1, you're thinking shot. And that was well played by Tayo Oditoju. He read that one and got a little support from his D as that puck lay there for a few seconds. And now it's Black's turn to put a little bit of pressure on. 13:02 to go in the game. That puck hit the defender, Pilling. And now puck centered, and in goes Shays. And Istis, Shays, and Souster, Gorel. Istis back to the point. Clausen with a shot, and that was top shelf picked there. And Tayo Oditoju able to get his blocker on it. And now Istis, Blue, putting some pressure on Istis. And he can't find any room, but he opts to put it back. And puck steered into the corner by Clausen. Holland patrolling there as he watches, and there is Souster, and of course he comes out with it. And Holland, and he got the back of Fellner. Fellner gonna feel that one, but he continues on. It took that one right in the back of the pad area. It might have had a little bit there, but those pant shells and pants aren't really well suited for a shot like that. It does look any worse for wear. 12:07 to go now in the third period. Team Blue up by 3, and the shot total is now getting fairly close to even, 28-24. And the story here is Blue's complete shutdown. Not a lot getting through to the net now. And Souster wins the draw. Lintott puts it into the corner. Pilipo able to reverse that puck, brings it out, and another big hit by Roth. And you can tell Roth, as he gets older, is going to really enjoy that physical part of the game. And Livingston, and he's chipped off the puck by Clausen now, and Clausen starts leading the rush up. And a puck now on Lintott's stick, one of the goal scorers for today. Lintott not able to find any room. Good marking there by Pilipo. He had the perfect amount of separation, and he turns that play away. And now Guntoniuk is coming in. Clausen with the back check. Guntoniuk and Bodnerchuk there again. And it's the nature of the shots that are coming that is so much different and basically influenced by that back check now of Team Blue. Whereas it was wide open shots on net that we were seeing, everything is being contested now by Bodnerchuk's teammates. One of the best stories going out of this, I think, is not only has Bodnerchuk had a bounce back here, but he has 2 assists in this game. And so I think Blue's starting to realize, maybe after some hardship there, that a good solid back check is going to get them out of their zone a lot faster, which then plays to their game, which is definitely speed orientation. And now Holland tracking down, that puck goes to the point, and Christian just puts that shot on net. And Bodnerchuk again. We got 10:30 left in the game. We are so pleased to continue to have BioSteel as the national sponsor. They are platinum sponsors of all 4 UMH-68 events, providing hydration needs to all players. Quick shout out to them, and they just dropped a hydration variety pack at Costco. You can get 24 bottles in 3 unreal flavors. Let's call it guilt-free, no sugar, clean, healthy hydration for your athletes and your family. And with the hot summer months coming up, you ought to pick yourself up one of those 24 packs at Costco. I probably will pick up a 24 pack also of a different variety, but I think I'll try that hydration as well. BioSteel continuing to support this UMH-68 process. They firmly believe in providing healthy alternatives for families and players. And now Gorel and Filson again. Filson with the puck draw. And you can see Kelly, he knows that with every second passing by that their chances of making it to the gold medal game are improving. And a hard fall there. Filson takes Pilling in hard into the boards, and Pilling is going to need a few minutes. He looks like he probably took the brunt of that right in the neck area, and we'll have a little bit of trainer opportunities to come out there, and we'll take the time that we need. Just an awkward spot to fall, and I don't think that Filson's intent there, but sometimes these things happen. He fell hard into the boards. Coach Keller now coming out too, and Pilling has just been so instrumental in those tight situations. And of course, anybody who's ever played defense knows it's an awkward spot to be. You're having to fish that out, and that young lad showing a lot of grit. He's up and not necessarily feeling 100%, but we're going to see some rallying again. This team, this blue team, just showing tremendous resolve. And we did type this. This is the black and blue game, and we are going to have a couple of bumps and bruises probably at the conclusion. But Team Blue will have the opportunity to go onto the power play again, and the referees taking an opportunity to discuss this, making a collective decision just to make sure that they get the call absolutely right. It was a penalty for sure. I'm just not quite sure yet what nature is, and we're going to have a conversation down here. And you got to really appreciate the opportunity here with the UMH-68. They bring in coaches who have that mindset of that growth development, not just for their players. You're seeing a good conversation here in the effort from the assistant coach from the Wildcats and from Team Black, just having that conversation and giving them some training. And we'll see what the call is. It is going to be, well, there's 2 minutes put up on the clock. And so I'm guessing that with all that consultation, it's either going to be a roughing, probably of the roughing nature. Either way, Blue will go on to the power play with 9:59, 10 minutes to go. And Blue's game plan being executed well here. And we'll see Cicchini, his pass out is picked up, and Blue battling hard there. And Serrano Parker, pardon me, the goal scorer. And now we've got ourselves a 2-on-1 break. And looking at Kelly coming across, and Bodnerchuk. What a play, both Kelly, and now Kelly taking it up. Jennings Kelly, fantastic defensive play. Makes it very manageable. Stop. It was a stop indeed for Bodnerchuk. That's his 30th save so far in the evening. And Jennings Kelly, fantastic effort. He managed to break up what could have potentially been a momentum shift in this particular game. And Parkinson now taking the draw. And Parkinson will give that one. Hard to tell who won that draw, but it ends up on the stick of Blue. And Kelly, Jennings Kelly, he's finding his form here. It was his defensive partner who was hurt in that era. And Morrow, he got some good wood on that one. You gotta remember, these are 2012 born players, and they're starting to pick up. It's important for them to start looking, and he didn't clutch on that at all. That was a good one-timer attempt, and he managed to get a little bit of heat on that. And as he grows, there's gonna be more and more behind a shot like that, and that's gonna become a deadly tool in his toolbox. Good go by Morrow. And Souster now against Bergen, and that puck remains in possession of Blue, so we're going to give that one to Souster. Holland now in deep, and he gets it up to Lintott. Lintott, and that puck is cleared by Cicchini, and Blue will regroup. And now the time on the clock starts to become a bit of a factor. And Coach Bear hoping that he doesn't have to make serious decisions about goaltender and pulling the goalie, but at a certain point, we're going to start seeing Black having to take some chances to get themselves into that gold medal. They played so well throughout the weekend, but Blue has just risen to the occasion. Souster hitting the outside of the net there. Now all kinds of time here. Clausen able to feed that puck across right to Shays. Shays, oh, it's just banging his stick on the ice. He knows that one just hopped, and you can guarantee he is going to excise that one with some stellar play later on. Holland, and he is knocked off the puck by Roth, and Istis, he is motivated now. Puck in front, and Souster, you got to think that eventually Souster's going to get that tip. And we got a change here for Blue, and they're able to get their 7:33 to go in the hockey game. And Istis delivering a little bit of body himself. He's got Pilipo in his sights. And that puck cleared now. Grim Filson and Fenner looking, and Quo now out on that line. Maybe a little bit of adjustments here. Coach Bear, and we're gonna see what he's got up his sleeve as we get close there. And Maxime Christian, he's able, and Christian, and well played by Christian, and he manages to get it up out of harm's way, and he's still, Pilipo now, and Pilipo, nice hip check there, and that was picture perfect. Got control of the puck, puts it back on his player's stick. Walter now, and we're gonna see a penalty there. And Yukon Kim, a little bit, he just stopped moving his feet there. And now we've got some extended penalty power play time, and Kim tips it out and then takes a walk over to the box, and Team Blue will be backed up. They hold the 3-goal lead with the 6:23 left on the clock. Are they able to hold this, or is Black going to mount a comeback? And we've seen Black score in bunches here, and so it's gut check time on both sides of that face-off. And Filson, and you can hear them, they know. Team Black especially comes back to Williams. Williams over to Cecchini. Cecchini with the shot, and Podnerchuk, no sir, he says, and he freezes that. 6 seconds come off the clock. And lining up is Walker Morrow, and Morrow, he gets the tie up, and Black able to bring that extra guy in, and they get control of the puck, and they're moving it around. In round robin play, they did such a great job with extended zone pressure, and here we go. That shot ripped out, and it goes all the way back behind the line, 5:58. And Oditoju has to come out of his net, stop the puck. Grim, oh pardon me, that's not Grim, same blue helmet, that was Keenan Williams. Williams, he fires it out, and Team Blue, Williams will have to go back and regroup. And Cecchini circling as well, and Pilling back after getting shaken up there earlier in the period. He is back out on the ice. That's good to see, especially if you're a supporter of Team Blue. And there's Shays now, and more than back. Pilling, happy probably to be back out on the ice surface, contribute, and he is continuing. But here's Filson. Filson now, he's looking spot, and that just eludes the stick. And Bondarchuk again, 32 saves so far. And we all love a redemption story, and that is one he is writing here on his own behalf, and he's getting a lot of help from his teammates up top. And hats off to Coach Keller. Obviously, he's had these guys go through an awful lot in the last day and a half, and if things continue the way they are, they have done an excellent job sticking to the game plan. 5 seconds to go, and the man advantage will tick away, and you can see him already, Kim, and he's going to go straight to the box. Nope, they're telling him to stay out. 4:17, and we're going to start keeping an eye on Oditoju 3-goal deficit. And we're now going to be looking, and there is Parker Serrano, and he is probably happy and content just to keep the puck there, 200 feet away from his net. And that puck bounces up and into the player's bench. We remind you that at the end of the game, we are going to ask you to stick around, and we've got 4 individual awards. In a team game, there are some individual standouts that we are going to be recognizing. The Ritchie Brothers 3-Star Awards, recognizing excellence in play during the game. And we're also going to have the Weatherspoon Realty sponsored Games Grit and Grind Award. And Livingston with a pair of goals in the last contest, and he'd love nothing more to add to that total and help his team out. 3:51 remain in the third. And there he is, Parkinson. And he isn't able to quite slice that across. And out comes Blue. And with every second ticking off the clock, coach got himself a decision. We still see Otitoju firmly in net there. 3-goal deficit's pretty tough to look at pulling the goalie. We saw the Oilers do it, and we also saw the result there. And there is Parker Serrano, just cool as a cucumber. Or Serrano Parker, my apologies. And he knows the assignment. You watch him now. He's just content. They're looking at just making smart plays. Make sure they've got numbers back. Make sure that they are thing. And now we're getting the signal. The goaltender's coming off. And now we get the extra attacker out for Team Black. And Black, if any team's going to be able to do it, they are. And here we go. Chakini, and Bod's on that again. Bodnerchuk. Standing stolid here. Team Black doing everything they can, including emptying their net. And Tayo Otitoju has had a great game himself. He's really kept his team in as well. And he'll have to watch the remainder of the contest, hoping that his teammates are going to be able, and that shot, long lead, and it goes wide. Why not take an opportunity like that, I suppose? 3-goal lead. The game's Grit and Grind Award comes courtesy of Weatherspoon Realty, and we're going to have a timeout here, so we're going to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about them. Looking to buy or sell a home, we've got you covered. Since 2009, our award-winning team has been helping clients navigate every step of the real estate journey with confidence. Recognized by Realty Executives International as one of the top 20 producing real estate agents worldwide, and ranked number 2 in Canada for the most homes sold. Our experience speaks for itself. Whether you're upgrading, downsizing, or buying your first home, trust the team that delivers results. That's Weatherspoon Realty, and we're pleased to have them sponsoring the game's Grit and Grind Award. And so many of these boys have been working with power skating coaches here locally. We have Tratch Power Skating, speed, precision, and edge control. Tratch Power Skating is where serious players sharpen their skills. We want to thank Tratch Power Skating because powerful skating changes the game. Key face-off here for Team Black. And that puck comes to the line. Cecchini. And that blocked right there at and chipped out. And Team Blue, each passing second, 2 minutes now left in the game. And they're going to temper their excitement here as they go. And there's Souster now. Souster. And Souster scores. Not the usual way he scores, but I'm sure he's pretty happy with that. 1:55 to go, and Team Blue now comfortably 5-1 up. And there's something in the water bottles that turned things around. Winning their first game and then just getting shelled for 2 solid games there. It was tough to watch. They stuck in there, and they've almost completed this comeback. And they just got another minute 51 to go. Team Black, though, they are gamers, and they want to make sure that they make every effort they can. And now we've got a break here. What a save. Beautiful save on. And Scheidel there, but fantastic. Toyo Otitoju, as we said, he's had a fantastic game. That's probably his best. And we've got Roth mixing it up. And Morrow and Roth. And Roth. And there's Roth. Oh, yeah, we don't want to see that. So, Souster, as is Souster, quite comfortable in his positioning there, managed to get a little bit under the skin of Roth. And he's going to rally. He's a gamer. He's been working and doing his best that he could. But he'll serve 2. And 1:11 to go here. Team Blue look like they've solidly booked their ticket to the gold medal final. And if you talked to us 24 hours ago about what that was going to look like, we thought it was a sure thing. And then 12 hours ago, we had our doubts. They certainly have had a journey to get to this point. And that shot, once again, right solidly, Otitoju. And he makes his 24th save of the game. 24th save of the game, although only 4 of the goals on the board went past him, 1 being an open net. And now Istis able to go across, and that puck comes up high, and now Blue just looking at puck control here. Puck shipped in front, Livingston. And Livingston looking to get himself up, and this is probably the biggest change that you've seen in Team Blue. There's 4 jerseys back and only 2, but remember that we are on the PK for Team Black. Holland now just takes a peek, and Team Blue, 30 seconds to go in the major. 30 seconds to go in the game, pardon me. Roth will be in the box for the remainder, and that puck in front. What a save again. Toyo Otitoju. What a great stop there, and he's been tested, and that kid's competing right till the very end. That's all you can ask for a goaltender. Stop those ones that you can see, and he's been solid. But this game is all about the comeback that Blue did, and that starts with the back check. But how good does that boy feel? Ben Bodnerchuk, you gotta feel for him. He battled this tournament, and he's making a case for one of those leading opportune persons. What a comeback for the young man and Team Blue in general, but you just have to feel good for him. Everybody felt it. And you got to feel for that Team Black as well. They'll have a chance to play for a medal, but not necessarily the color they wanted to. They've had a fantastic tournament so far, being just so consistent. But the hot, cold nature of Blue turned hot for the time when it was needed. And we're going to stick around for our 4 individual game winners, but highs from the highest of highs and the lowest of lows back to the highest of highs. And both teams, lots to be excited about, and we still got another game for them tomorrow. It'll be bronze medal game for Team Black and the gold medal final for Team Blue. And we're going to see who takes home some of this hardware here. And we'll start with the game's grit. Can a player win all 4? I wonder.
First up, the winner of today's Grit and Grind Award. The Grit and Grind Award is sponsored by Witherspoon.
Grit and Grind Award sponsored by Witherspoon Realty. And if you've got, whether you're upgrading, downsizing, or buying your first home, trust the team that delivers results. And the Grit and Grind Award is going to
from Team Black.
Team Blacks.
Number 6, Brady Ross.
Great, and yes, I know a little frustration at the end, but we recognize he dug in there, and you can see a lot of heart there. Might have gotten a bit of the best of him at the end, but he worked his butt off, and he's a well-earned. And now we get the 3 stars selected, sponsored by Ritchie Brothers. Ritchie Brothers powering big moves on and off the rink. The 3rd star selection for this first semi goes to
from Team Blue, Number 3.
Team Blue, number 3, and yes, it was probably his best game. We started to see a lot more of Jennings Kelly's skating ability. He kind of kept that on mute for the first, but we're starting to see that, and we'll see more. Second star from the blue team. Number 16, Yukon Kim with 2 goals, including a clutch one that really put them up in the front. And of course, I'm pretty sure we all know who the first star is. What an effort. Maybe the story of the tournament. Benny Bondarchuk. You got to be really proud of the effort that boy put forward. And he had a tough spot there yesterday and this morning, and he's got to be feeling on top of the world now. 2 assists to boot on top of that, and a 93% save percentage plus. I got to tell you, that's why you got to love hockey, and that's sometimes why it makes it painful too. And we see a lot of gamesmanship there at the end, teammates consoling teammates and congratulating one another. And we are in for a dandy. Show as much dramatics as semifinal number 1, and that will be taking place shortly. Team Gray taking on Team Red. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.